Reddit has filed to go public finally. This will be the first major tech IPO of the year and the first social media IPO since Pinterest in 2019, if you can believe it. The platform's bankers are looking for a valuation of at least $5 billion, not too big. It has 73 million daily active users and one of the most visited websites in the U.S. In an unusual move, Reddit will reportedly offer 75,000 power users the chance to buy shares at the IPO price. I think other companies have done similar things. First off, Reddit has been around since 2005. This will be a test for IPOs in general. Their business is largely advertising, and now probably the most controversial thing is this data licensing agreement. They just announced a $60 million deal with Google last week, which I think people inside who use the company are not happy about. So, any thoughts? Talk to me about this IPO.
Well, first off, everyone's sort of waiting for the market to thaw, the IPO market. And it probably is beginning, or the atmospherics are lining up just because of the acceleration in the markets. The markets are reaching new highs, and NVIDIA has totally inspired. Kind of the animal spirits appear to be returning. And there's several IPOs lined up, and everyone's waiting for one to really pop, whether it's going to be Reddit or Shein, which is kind of the biggest fast fashion company in the world. I like Reddit a lot. I actually think this IPO could be a real winner because, the first thing I did, just very basic, I type in most trafficked sites in America. Number 1 is Google. Number 2 is YouTube. Number 3, Reddit. And
my kids use it.
And number 4 is Facebook. Number 5, Amazon. Number 6, Pornhub. Number 7, Wikipedia. And number 8, Yahoo. And my attitude is
Yahoo over Twitter.
Isn't that crazy? I'm a shareholder in Yahoo.
Twitter's probably dead.
But my thesis around Yahoo is the same as my thesis around Reddit. And that is, remember those charts I always used to put out 10, 15 years ago saying, newspapers command 7% of people's attention, but they get 18% of the advertising revenue, whereas the internet is 30% of people's attention, but only 9% of money. Yeah. And over time, the two calibrate, they normalize. They come in line with each other. And so when you look at the most trafficked sites in the world, they're usually, $1+ trillion companies. And so this company is going to go out supposedly at a valuation of $5 billion, and it's the third most trafficked site in the United States. Enough said.
It's a bargain.
They should be able to. They should be able to figure this out.
They still rely on advertising quite a bit. Like that. If you look at the numbers, it's a really heavy, and so they're subject to the vicissitudes of the market. I get it. You're right.
So does Google. Alphabet's all advertising.
This is a much smaller company. Like I've interviewed its CEO Steve Huffman quite a bit. I like him. He was really first on figuring out content moderation. They of course had a terrible back in, around some really heinous sites there on the site. It's always been a little bit of a shaggy dog of a social media site.
But they did the $60 million deal. They have a little bit of that AI spice on their meal. They got $60 million. I think that's going to go up, or they might take the content in-house. This is their risk. They can't be Pinterest and Snap that have kind of gone sideways and always end up being the little engines that couldn't.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But if they continue to be one of the most trafficked sites in the world, they can put an AI spin on this at $5 billion. Let me just be transparent. I'm going to try and get stock in this thing. I think this could be either Shein or Reddit are going to set the IPO market on fire. I think
Shein is a retailer, though, of course, right?
But Shein, it's another one. We'll talk about this another day. But Shein is now the largest fast fashion company in the world.
Yeah.
And one or both of these is going to have a big pop because the IPO market has been so thawed that I bet these get priced fairly conservatively. And there's so much money on
$5 billion is very low.
That's nothing. And that's the problem. It's a lot. If it sticks at $5 billion, it's not going to get a lot of analyst coverage. No one really cares about $5 billion companies.
It doesn't make money, as I recall. I think they're cash flow positive, I believe. What's interesting, here's one that 9% of the voting power at Reddit, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, there he is, pops up. He invested at a time when they were struggling a little bit, $60 million in shares, because they were going to go IPO and then they weren't, and then they were sort of owned by Condé Nast, and they weren't. You know what I mean? They went through a lot. This company has gone through a lot of iterations.
Yeah.
And sort of coming out. Maybe they should be bought. People thought about buying them. Then there was the controversy over the Trump forums and everything else. And then I did an interview with Steve, and he said He was the first CEO to say to me about content moderation, you know, they were the free speech wing of the free speech party, right? Those guys, of the people I interviewed. But he was also the first person who said to me, some people are just malignant actors and we're going to throw them out. Mm-hmm. And nobody had ever said that. And they had no resources to do it. And that was a big deal when he said that to me. I was sort of like, the company with the least ability to do anything about it was articulating something that just made perfect sense, right? And this was a company that was so free speechy, you couldn't. I mean, they got in trouble for it very early on.
I share.
Tell me about Altman. What do you think about Altman? Just curious. First,
his investment gets this thing at least another $1 billion in valuation because it's more of that AI sprinkling. It's more of that AI pixie. Everybody thinks Sam Altman, maybe with the exception of Jensen Huang, is the smartest person in the world. And he's an investor and a shareholder here. One of these companies is going to have a triple-digit opening day in the IPO market, and we're going to be off to the races.
Interesting.
I think this is a great.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And not only that, Reddit, it's a global brand. People know it.
It is.
It's a global brand. How many global brands can you pick up for $5 billion right now?
Not just that, it's a youth brand too. My kids, I was surprised. They use two things: YouTube quite a bit, but Reddit just as much. It's a really, and they don't use it for chit chatting. They use it for videos and consumption, which they don't like. They don't like TikTok. I know it sounds crazy, but they find it too performative, and they think Reddit feels more real. It's an entertainment vehicle for them.
So you know, it's a really interesting hack that I didn't discover. Type in your search and then add the word Reddit and see what comes up.
Oh,
it's
interesting.
really
There's
interesting.
a whole thing on why we're so annoying on Reddit. Do you know that?
Oh, really?
They vote about which one of us is more annoying.
That's a tough one. That's not an easy call.
No, but really.
That's a photo finish.
I'm insufferable.
Really?
But interesting. You are the most annoying. I'm sorry to tell you.
But you've already decided? Is that Reddit?
No, I looked at it. I'm looking at Reddit. There's whole sections talking about.
Oh, good. We're back to us.
Annoying,
for those of you who are wondering, we could go 10 minutes without talking about us. Tell me about your book, Tara.
No. But let me tell you, I went there and it popped right up. I was looking.
Have you heard about our therapy session? Jesus, this really is the Scott and Kara show.
People love that. People love this.
I know.
It is the Scott and Kara show. But I'm saying it was really interesting. It's just endlessly interesting information. But there's a whole section of whether we're annoying or not.
The answer is yes. But
we
as long as we're entertaining, that's fine.
That's what I said. I was like, I almost popped in and went, "Hey, girls."
Reddit, watch out! I'm calling it now. Reddit, first trade, way up.